just focus on one thing at a time and you give it your entire attention. And I think that it can just have such a tangible positive benefit for anybody.
Hi everyone, I am Molly Dobson, the General Manager for Amazon Business UK and Ireland. Organizations across the country use Amazon Business because they want us to help them save something. Save time, save money, save resource. In short, they want to become more productive and understand how to spend their time better or spend their time right. And I can't think of a better person to join us today talking about how to spend your time right and speak about productivity than Anna Codrea-Rado, author, journalist, co-host of the podcast, Is This Working? And also a self-proclaimed productivity geek. Welcome, Anna. It's such a pleasure to have you joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Anna, your work has spoken a lot about productivity and its impact on the workplace. And also you've talked about how time management and productivity has influenced your career and your professional journey. Can you talk to us a little bit about how time management and productivity led you to make the decisions that you did in your career?
So I think I've always been an organized person. I've always been someone who wants to have a schedule and all of that kind of stuff. But I think it wasn't until I stopped working for an employer and went freelance that I really realized the direct impact of being productive and having time management hacks and techniques in place that actually worked would not only just be a good thing to have, but would have a tangible benefit to me. And so it became a necessity for me to make sure that I was using my time as effectively as possible, that I was able to fit in all of the things that I needed and had an effective way of meeting my goals, getting my work done, hitting my deadlines, and all of that kind of stuff. And so I just became really curious and really fascinated by productivity techniques. I did loads of reading on it and just started applying them into my own work and my own life. And it's just really kind of transformed the way that I do my own business and think about my own working life. And I think that it can just have such a tangible and positive benefit for anybody.
How did you effectively make that transition from a more rigid environment into a more flexible one where you really owned your time?
And it very much started from this place of curiosity. And in the case of productivity, I just started researching, who are the people who are doing this well? What can I learn from them?
And at Amazon and Amazon Business, we talk a lot about mechanisms. So it's making sure that you can tie your actions to the results that you want. So it sounds as if you do something similar with your time when you're testing out these different techniques to make sure that it's actually giving you what you want when you assess if it works or not. So we support a lot of micro and small businesses who both sell on Amazon Business or buy through Amazon Business. For all of those that are listening today thinking about, well, how can I take this away and really manage my time better, be more productive? What are your top tips and tricks that you might have for someone that is rethinking how they want to manage their time and spend their time right?
When we think about managing our time, we have to have a reason why. In business, there's this, know your why. It's cheesy, but it's actually a really important and powerful thing to grapple with. And again, applies to everyone. No matter what kind of business they're in, what kind of industry they're in, how big the company is, all of that, their seniority, all of these things. You need to know why you're doing something. You need to know what are your priorities. What is the thing that you are trying to get your schedule towards? So that's a really important thing to start with. And then from there, that's when the fun stuff starts to happen, and that's when you can start to use all of these fun hacks and experiment with different tools to actually get your schedule to where you want it to be. A couple of my favorites. The first is something called the Pomodoro technique. It's really simple, and it is an effective tool for anyone who needs to actually get the work done. So, and you can use it both for deep work or also for more like administrative tasks or anything like that, even email sometimes I use it for. But essentially all you do is you set a timer, any timer. You can buy yourself a fancy one, you can use a desktop plugin, you can just use your phone. You set a timer for 25 minutes, you work on one task, uninterrupted, focused for 25 minutes. Then you set another timer, take a 5-minute break, and then you rinse and repeat that a couple of times. Ideally up to 4 times, and then you can take a longer break of half an hour, 45 minutes. it is amazing how much work you can get done. It sounds so obvious to say, but it's amazing how much work you can get done when you just focus on one thing at a time and you give it your entire attention. You'll just blast through everything that you need to do. And then in terms of, okay, but how do I actually organize my schedule? How do I build a schedule? I think that one of the best productivity tools is just an old-fashioned calendar. It doesn't matter if it's on your in digital format or paper format. Your calendar is how you translate your to-do list into things that actually get done. Even further, I'm a big fan of batching like-for-like tasks. So rather than doing an hour of emailing and then a half-hour meeting and then some other task, batching those like-for-like things, so you're not kind of breaking up your day too much and you're not kind of getting having your attention pulled in too many different ways. So maybe put all of your calls together, maybe put all of your meetings together, put your thinking work, your deep work, if you have to go over a report, write a report, or analyze numbers or whatever it might be, put those things together so that you're not kind of having to divert your attention in too many different places.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense too when you think about having some rigidity in your schedule and how you manage that, because I'm notorious for having a perfectly organized calendar, but it doesn't necessarily match my to-do list, which means I've got to disconnect there. So having some rigidity in terms of how you plan to use your time, but still staying flexible enough for when reality creeps in, that you've got that buffer to manage reality as it comes. And I thank you so much for sharing that. I know there are some incredibly useful and tangible things that I should take away and do for myself after this conversation. So thank you for joining us. And hopefully everyone on the video today has also found something of value that they can take away to manage their time better and increase their productivity. Anna, thank you so much for being here. I've really appreciated your time.
Thank you very much for having me.